let's consider this triangle here. This triangle ABC, and we know that on this side BC is 15, AB 13 centimeters, and then we're supposed to find AC, the side AC, as well as this angle, that's ACB or BCA as well, and also this angle ABC. Now, don't make any assumptions. The angle C kind of look like a right angle, but you don't know, you were not told. So don't assume that it's a right angle and then use sine is opposite over hypotenuse, use cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, use tan is opposite over adjacent. Those won't work if it's not a right angle triangle. Don't assume it's a right angle. So you know that sine and cosine rule can work on any triangle. So we can safely try those. Now, the sine rule is easier to deal with. So let's try it first before you try the cosine rule. Now remember, the sine rule says a side divided by the sine of the angle opposite to it equals another side divided by the sine of the angle opposite to it, right, equals another side divided by the sine of the angle opposite to it. For example, this side divided by sine of this angle, which is opposite to it, equals the side divided by sine of the angle that is opposite to it, equals the side divided by sine of the angle opposite to it. Alright, it's always side over sine of the angle opposite to it, like that. So always side divided by sine of the angle opposite to it, and so on and so forth. Alright, so let's see if that can work with this. We have a side which we know 15. So we have 15 divided by, then the sine of the angle that is opposite to the 15 here is 75. Sine 75. And remember, when I say opposite to it, when you talk about the 75, it's opposite to the 15. The 15 is not adjacent to it. It doesn't, for example, AB, it runs alongside the 75. It brushes against the side, the edge of the 75. Also, AC, you can see it rubs against the edge, the side of the 75. But 15 stays far away from it. It doesn't come anywhere near the 75 degrees here. So it's opposite to the 75. And if you should draw a triangle like this, and this angle would be at the bottom, this angle would be at the side would be at the top. So it's opposite side. Alright, so let's go back to what we were talking about, so that we clarify that again. 15, the side 15 over the sine of the angle opposite to the 15, which is 75, equals, we have a side here which we know, side 13 divided by the sine of the angle opposite to it, which is sine of C. Alright, so that's what we have. What we could do is finish working this out and see what you get. What's the sine of 75? We're going to find out 50 divided by, what we need to do is use our calculator. So in this case, what we have on our calculator, make sure that my calculator is in degree mode. Sine of 75 equals 0.966. Alright, so 0.966 equals 13 over the sine of c. If we do a cross multiplying, in other words multiply both sides by sine c, we have 15 times sine c equals, multiply both sides by 0.966, we have 13 times 0.966. Right? So 15 times sine c equals, then we have 13 times 0.966, so 13 times that gives us 12.557. I'm keeping to at least 3 decimal places while working to get a very accurate figure. So it's 12.557. 12.557. If you divide both sides now, 15 times sine c equals 12.557, and you divide both sides by 15, divide by 15, 15 cancel 15. What you have is that sine c is equal to 12.557 over 15, which is what? If you have this, let's just use it all, divide by 15.837. What you get is 0.837. Now that you know that the sine of angle C is 0.837, how do you find C? Well, C is equal to the sine inverse of 0.837. Alright? 0.837. So you say, in my case here, sine inverse like that. With other scientific calculators, you use the shift or second function. So what you have here is 56 point, let's call it 56.8 degrees. So 56.8 degrees is our angle C, 56.8 degrees. So BCA is 56.8 degrees. Now that we know that this is 56.8, it's kind of small for me to write it in. See if I can write it in here. 56.8. We can just say that since all the angles must add up to 180, we could say 56.8 plus 75 plus 56.8 gives us 131. Plus b would be 180. So to find b, you say 180 minus the 131 gives us 48.2 degrees. So ABC is 48.2 degrees. Alright? So that's what we have. And of course, you can check to make sure by saying 48.2 degrees plus 56.8 degrees plus 75 degrees add up to 180 degrees. Alright? Now the next thing, let me just get rid of these dots all over the place here. So the next thing now, we want to find AC. Let's see how we can deal with that. Find AC. We can say AC, length of AC over the sine of the angle opposite to it, which is 48.2. We can do that now. Now that we know this angle, equals another side divided by the sine of the angle opposite to it. The 15 is BC divided by the sine of the 75. Alright? So, here now, we had done a calculation here before, 15 over sine 75. So what we have is that sine 75 is 0.966 from the previous work we did. Remember that. Let me divide up the board. So can just get rid of this from the middle here, because we could just write all of this AC divided by sine 48.2 equals the 15 divided by 0.966. So here now, if you multiply both sides by the sine of 48.2, it will cancel itself and you get AC is equal to 15 times the sine of 48.2 divided by 0.966. Alright? So what is AC? Let's check that out with our calculator. 15 times the sine of 48.2 equals that. Right? Then divide that by 0.966 equals 11.576, 11.6. Let's call it 11.6. So the length of AC is 11.6 centimeters. So it's 11.6 cm. Alright. So we could review this step by step. You could start it off again, do it on your own, and see how it works out. Alright, so that's one example using the sine rule. So that's it for now.